Ethiopia, an ancient land in the Horn of Africa, the birthplace of humankind, a country distinguished by its ancient history, diverse cultures and unique biodiversity, a country where coffee Arabica has its origins, a country which maintained its independence over thousands of years and is now a politically stable and fast-developing democracy. A fast-growing economy bolstered by constructive government policies. Historically, Ethiopia is known as the home of some of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, such as the Aksumite Empire and the Kingdom of Lalibela. Unique in many aspects, the Aksumite civilization was characterized by its military prowess, economic prosperity, and architectural ingenuity. Lalibela, with its churches carved from the solid rock, is rightly acknowledged to be one of the wonders of the world. Though renowned for its historic civilizations and culture, over the millennia, poverty and drought have threatened Ethiopia's very survival, shaken Ethiopians' otherwise stubborn pride, and have posed serious challenges to the continuity of the nation. Today, the country is undergoing a process of revival once again. Ethiopia is an agrarian economy. More than 80% of the population is engaged in agriculture. The government and people of Ethiopia are jointly committed to making poverty history. Over the past 2 decades, the battle against poverty and underdevelopment has been vigorously joined. For a nation mired in poverty and facing cyclical bouts of drought and famine, the struggle has not been easy. The incumbent government in Ethiopia clearly recognizes the challenges ahead. Though resources are scarce and skilled manpower is limited, the government believes that with the right policies in place, Ethiopia has a bright future.
Yes, our plan is ambitious, but it is feasible. It is possible to achieve it, and therefore the thing now is not to nitpick about this and that particular aspect of the plan. The thing to do now is to build on it and push the issue of the implementation of the plan as far and as fast as we possibly can. If at the end of the 5-year plan we have achieved parts of it, overachieved other parts, then that's fine, because we will have made our best efforts. We don't have to fulfill every paragraph in the plan for us to feel satisfied with the implementation of the plan, if the basic parameters, basic objectives are achieved.
In the struggle for development, mobilizing all available resources for building the country's infrastructure is absolutely crucial. Over the last 2 decades, striking improvements have been registered in the country's overall infrastructure.
When we talk about national ownership and leadership and African leadership of its own development, Ethiopia is unique in terms of never having been colonized. It was occupied only for a few years, and therefore in terms of its perspective and views, again, a unique contribution to provide. From an economic point of view, Ethiopia is estimated by the IMF and by the Economist Intelligence Unit to be one of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world in the next 5 years. Indeed, according to some estimates, it will be number 3 after only China and India in terms of global growth, with an expected growth of over 8%.
Fundamental to the struggle for development is the provision of a sustainable and adequate power supply. To this end, the government of Ethiopia has given much attention to the construction of hydropower plants. What has been achieved so far is nothing short of remarkable. In the past 5 years alone, the government has succeeded in building 5 hydroelectric power generating stations. Boosting the power generating capacity of the nation from 300 megawatts to more than 2,000 megawatts. When the Ethiopian Grand Renaissance Dam, with a power generating capacity of 6,000 megawatts, and Gibe 3, with a power generating capacity of over 1,800 megawatts, are both completed, Ethiopia's power generating capacity will have reached 10,000 megawatts. The government has an unshakable belief in the capabilities of the Ethiopian people. The people who erected the obelisks of Axum, carved the churches of Lalibela, and who mobilized armies which defended the independence of the country and the freedom of its people. Ethiopians have done what seemed at the time to be impossible, and there is no reason why they should not repeat their remarkable history again and again. Unlike the construction of the 3 dams, Dana Bellis multi-purpose hydropower plant, the Tekeze hydropower dam and the Gibe 2, the Renaissance Dam is fully financed by Ethiopia's own resources. The huge 80 billion birr project is financed by the Ethiopian government and contributions from the public. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital, is the diplomatic capital of Africa and the permanent seat of the African Union, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and many more continental and international organizations. Tourist arrivals in Ethiopia, with its wonderful scenery and historic and cultural attractions, are increasing year on year.
Ethiopia is a country of secrets. There are so many old buildings, monuments, temples, churches that clearly mankind must have started in Ethiopia. And for me, Ethiopia is probably one of the world's best kept secrets, because we've seen hardly any tourists, which surprises us, because in the main, the country, you can be here on a very low budget. The people, the food, the support here is amazing. If you don't want to travel for hours on a bus, Ethiopian Airlines is one of the best airlines I've travelled with. So my message is, come to Ethiopia while you can.
This process has been greatly assisted by massive improvements in the country's infrastructure. With improved supply in the capital, infrastructure and hotels, the last 5 to 6 years have witnessed a substantial increase in conference tourism. It is believed that by 2020, Ethiopia will be among the top 5 tourist destinations in Africa. The attractive investment climate is promoting an economic boom in the country. Over the last 5 years in particular, the role of the private sector in the economy has grown significantly. Opportunities are wide open, not only for local but also for international businesses.
Whenever any company comes to Ethiopia, the agreement is that they focus on building the capacity of Ethiopians so that, especially in infrastructure development, we focus on transfer of technology and as well as local capacity building, which is central for our future development. We cannot always depend on foreign country, so we need to have our own local capacity. So we focus on local capacity building in our engagement with China or India or any other emerging economies. So I think we have a very cordial relationship, and that will continue for the future as well, and in a win-win manner.
Favorable conditions are already in place for those who wish to engage in industry, agriculture, real estate, education and other areas. Ethiopia really is the land of opportunities.
Matonaga ngungori takiji malanje awiwe matonaga ngori ngara junyaka ye